This just in, the Attorney General of Uganda, Chirwa Chiwanuka, has just handed over the civilian cases that have been being handled in the court-martial. Well, in this edition of Legal News, we are going to discuss everything concerning what the Supreme Court decision has brought about in terms of the impact, what this means for the legal sector, and most importantly, what does this mean for all the innocent civilians who have been being tried in the court-martial, and most importantly, what does this mean for the Kiza Besije and Lutali case that has been the case of the century. So, welcome to Legal News Daily, and let's discuss all of this moving forward. Hello everyone, welcome back to Legal News Daily. I'm your host Terry Kahuma on this channel, and today we're going to discuss one of the most controversial issues that is spilling over from Friday last week, where we had it the Supreme Court stopped and halted all the trying of civilians in the court-martial. So basically said that court-martial is not allowed to try innocent civilians in the court-martial. Now, His Justice Owinyi-Dolo, who is the Chief Justice of Uganda, basically said that, you know what, from now onwards, civilian cases need to be handed over to the traditional court system. Now, I will not repeat this, but I'll just state it briefly. The traditional court system, we have the Magistrates Court, we have the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. Kiza Besije and Lutali have been being tried in the court-martial, and this has been so controversial to the point that they had to rely on the case of Kavaziguruka versus Attorney General, which was recently decided in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court came out with this controversial decision saying that all civilian cases should be handed over to the traditional court system. Now, this means that the Attorney General is supposed to hand over most of these controversial cases to the Director of Public Prosecution. So therefore, we had it that even today Martha Karua and Arias Lukwago, who are the lawyers of Kiza Besije, were at the premises of the Ministry of Justice. They were basically trying to appeal to the Attorney General that please, since this case of Kawaziguruka versus Attorney General has been decided, and it has been stated that civilians should not be tried in a court-martial, please hand over all these cases to the traditional court system. Now, who is supposed to take over these criminal cases? We have the Director of Public Prosecution. So the DPP is given powers under Article 120 of the Constitution. It is given within the mandate and office of the Director of Public Prosecution with the DPP to take over all criminal cases. So therefore, it means that if civilians are no longer being tried in the court-martial, that means that the Director of Public Prosecution should be able to take over the criminal cases of the state of Uganda. So therefore, to become Uganda versus Kiza Besije, but no longer in the court-martial, but in the traditional court system. So finally, what are the powers of the Director of Public Prosecution? Number one, to take over criminal cases of any nature on behalf of government, to institute all police and criminal investigations concerning criminals. So basically, the Attorney General has now informed Parliament that from now onwards, all these civilian cases being tried in the court-martial are now being taken under Article 120, which gives the DPP powers to try over all criminal